BBP. Better Broadcast Podcast.
That was beautiful.
Welcome to the Better Broadcast Podcast.
Yes, we Mason said he learned on YouTube last night, very late, late at night.
It was like 4 a.m.
He learned how to Mongolian throat sing.
I'm not good at it yet, but I'm gonna keep practicing. Bro, did you know?
But you were not. You felt good enough to open the podcast.
Bro, I don't know. Fuck it. But dude, did you know that some Mongolian throat singers, actually a lot of them, they die by like 30 or like 40 because they get
It's
like
probably not good. No.
they get these like micro concussions from like their brain vibrating.
Okay.
True story.
Okay. I feel like I should sit on a pillow. I feel like I have two pillows behind me. I feel like I look a little funny already, but I'm trying to have a good posture.
Yeah. So long story short, I forgot my headphones. We were gonna record at the studio where we had the first episode. I believe this is going to be the third episode.
Yeah.
But I forgot my headphones. So
Yeah,
here we are. We packed up all the equipment and brought it
So
over
yeah,
to...
because you forgot to bring your headphones to the studio. Because only the headphones. You didn't bring those to the studio. We thought instead of you going to get your headphones and coming back, we thought the best course of action was to take all of the light stands, the microphones, everything, and bring them to your house, because that would be more convenient.
I don't know, dude. Honestly, what are we? I'm just looking at the levels. Yeah.
And we're drinking this
Yeah.
episode. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was earlier we went and used it's called a view camera.
Yes, dude. This thing was so sick.
I'm a film major and photography minor. My one photography class is the chronology of photography.
So,
All right,
where were we?
we're a little taller now.
Yeah.
We decided to sit on some pillows.
Yeah. The couch was like the mic stand doesn't go any lower, and the couch is pretty low. So.
Yeah, no. So maybe next time we'll just do it in the studio again.
Yeah. Hey man, I like this set too. So.
This is a cool set. I really like the save water,
Drink wine.
yeah, from Mason's
that's
mom.
My mom.
We were gonna take it down, but the wall was empty without it,
Yeah,
so it actually looks better.
Actually, we kind of love the decor.
We do love the decor. I love it. There's one on the other side that says, "Come in, we are awesome," and I like that too.
Friends are the family that you find along the way.
Anyway, so I wanted to first talk about the view camera that we used earlier. It's called a view camera. I'm a photography minor, film major, and for my chronology of photography class, it's called. It's like about the beginnings of it and all this stuff. So this is like a really old view camera. Like it pops open. I don't know if you know what a bellows is. It's like the accordion thing that goes in and out. That's like the lens, and it's just like this crazy old camera. You have to like put the blanket over your head to like see through it.
Yeah, it was awesome. We went up to where did we go up to?
We went to Shingletown.
Yeah, we went up to Shingletown Gap, and we took that camera out on some of the hiking trails, and people were giving us some weird looks.
Yeah, there were some people walking by, and you literally have to put a blanket. And
Yeah.
That was just something I wanted to talk about.
No, but it was a lot of fun to use.
We did that today. All right, so we have a long list of talking points today that are kind of all over the place.
Yeah, this is kind of like an impromptu podcast.
Yeah. So it really is. So one of our talking points we just have here, SpiderMan, which I think we could riff on for a while.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about SpiderMan.
So SpiderMan, yeah.
Recently, obviously, I'm sure most of the people out there, if not everyone, has seen Spider-Man No Way Home. One of the best like Marvel movies to come out of the studio.
Yeah.
And Matt is not like a very big Marvel guy. So I want to hear his like explicit opinion of what he thought. Although we did see it a while ago, so it might not be so fresh in your brain.
I mean, it was good. I really like Spider-Man, and I grew up with like Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, you grew
Spider-Man.
up with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
So obviously that movie was so successful because it just drew on everyone's nostalgia.
Yeah.
Over like generations of people who like
Toby,
Spider-Man.
Andrew, and Tom.
So, but I think honestly, like just for that factor, like it was a good movie, but people really hype it up.
I mean,
I don't want to be that guy,
no,
but
like,
it was good, but it was like it gets probably more hype than it deserves.
That's true, but hear me out. Whenever we didn't know yet if they were gonna be in the movie and like all these leaks and shit were coming out,
Yeah.
like it was crazy, dude. Like whenever like in the theater, I don't know, I went and saw it by myself.
Yeah.
And then we went with all of our friends the next day. And I like lost it in the theater, dude. I was going crazy.
Yeah.
Plus Alfred Molina's Doc Ock.
Yeah,
like,
he was
that
great.
That was crazy, dude.
I watch shout out Fact Fiend with Carl Smallwood.
Okay.
One of my favorite YouTube channels. I watched he had a video about Dr. Octavius and specifically Alfred Molina and his one stipulation for playing Doc Ock in the first place was that he would like talk a bunch of shit on Spider-Man because in the comic books like the character did that, and then I forget what he also had like. No, it was Willem Dafoe. His stipulation to be in Spider-Man.
He wanted to do all of his own stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, in the comics, fun fact, there was actually a storyline where Doc Ock kidnapped Aunt May and one of Peter's other friends.
Yeah.
And he was so nice to them that they didn't even realize they were being kidnapped. He was just a true gentleman. So whenever he really came back to like the good side, I guess, for lack of a better term, it like really hit home because that's like one of my favorite arcs in like the older Spider-Man stuff.
In one of the comics, isn't it Ultimate Spider-Man, Doc Ock?
Yes, dude. I was literally going to talk about that. I watched a video about that today.
Yeah.
It would be crazy if we could get an MCU Ultimate Spider-Man where like Tom Holland gets his own version of like Doc Ock, and then that version of Doc Ock takes over his body and becomes the West Coast Spider-Man.
Here's the thing.
Like
I think
in the comics,
what's going to happen?
Crazy.
I think it's cool with No Way Home or whatever. When they all came back, everyone was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." And then they're gonna have like another movie with like either like Toby or Tom.
There's some rumors. Well, Tom's gonna have a lot of stuff.
Whoever
going on still.
What was it? Andrew.
But,
that's what I meant.
Andrew might get his own universe back, and Toby is gonna be in Doctor Strange 2.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they're just gonna overdo it, and then people are gonna get sick of it.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like you can't like as a company like Disney. It's not like you can do that in No Way Home, and like it was received so well. Like, why would you not do it again?
To be tasteful.
They don't care.
Yeah. No,
they don't. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, we're kind of clippy.
What are you talking about? No, we're not clippy. It's just high.
I thought I heard something. Nope. Okay. Any other thoughts on Spider-Man? I like Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man.
That was my take on the movie. My hot take.
Morbius just came out.
Yeah, Morbius. I know a little bit about Morbius.
I didn't see it. Apparently, it's terrible. But the post-credit scene was kind of cool. I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah.
He at the end of No Way Home, whenever the box breaks and the universe is being like busted apart, and Doctor Strange is like trying to hold it together.
Yeah.
You know. And you can see all the Spider-Man villains in like
a little bit closer to the mic, I think.
Okay, and you can like see all the Spider-Man villains like in the distance in like the purple like universe, whatever, like getting pulled through like the other villains did.
Yeah. And
at the end of Morbius, you can like see him almost being pulled through in that moment.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering. So they have to have Tom for another 3 movies.
Oh yes. So they're doing. I think they're gonna like go back and they're gonna do his version of the Spider-Man origin, where he gets bitten by the spider.
Oh, they shouldn't go back. They should continue with.
I think they're doing, or maybe I'm not sure because I think it's called Spider-Man Freshman Year.
Really? Is that live action or is that anime? I thought that was animated.
Live action. That's gonna be Spider-Verse 2.
Okay. All right, let's move on from Spider-Man. Okay. I'm getting sick of how much shit. Like Marvel just comes out with too much. Like, bro, it's just too much. I think like it's just beating it into the ground to the point where like I just can't like it whenever there's just so much stuff.
Yeah, bro, but that's like one of my favorite things about Marvel and like Star Wars is like the expansion of like the universe, like just how big it is and how much stuff there is.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how it's all like interconnected in a weird way.
Yeah. While we're on it, give me 5 minutes about Moon Knight.
Moon Knight? I don't know if I can give you 5 minutes about Moon Knight.
Give me a couple minutes.
But it was really good.
Tell me about it. Don't like give too many explicit spoilers, but tell me and the audience like.
Okay, so
would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would recommend it. So Oscar Isaac plays this guy named Steven, right?
Yeah.
And so in the comics, I was wrong the first episode whenever I said that in the comics he has a multi-personality disorder.
Yeah, and is also wrong when he said his
name
was
Mark
Dane
Spector
Shipman.
in the comics for a little bit of preface. he is he was like a mercenary, and he created these other personalities to basically be on like the street level and gain intel.
Yeah.
Right? So he could be like friends with people who would give him this intel, like basically unknowingly. And then from there, like later in the comics, it kind of moved to like some kind of like psychological problem where he was like the different personalities, and like Moon Knight was a different personality too.
But now it started right off the bat with the show.
Yeah.
like
So, but in the show, I just don't want to give too many spoilers.
Yeah. Try not to.
But
or if you're gonna just say spoiler alert.
Yeah. But he supposedly has some kind of multi-personality disorder, and he's like going through all this stuff, and he's like having these blackouts where he's like chaining himself to his bed and putting sand around it so he can see if he like leaves in the middle of the night, like sleepwalking, because he'll leave and then he'll just wake up in some field. And in the first episode, he leaves in the middle of the night unknowingly and wakes up in Germany.
Okay.
Which gives us a little peek at, I believe, is supposed to be...
For some reason, that reminds me of when Frank just wakes up in Canada in Shameless.
Yes. No, that's very... Yeah. I like that.
Okay.
That's funny.
So, just real quick, I have a note here about viewer interaction. I thought it would be cool because we got a really positive interaction.
Yeah, so far
to the first episode.
Yeah, so far the first episode has like 200 and some, like 220 views or something like that.
Yeah, which is...
And like 22 likes and like almost 10 comments. Like that's pretty disproportionate, like in a good way for us. So like, thank you guys. Like that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would have expected the podcast to maybe get like 50 views.
Yeah,
exactly. It'd be really hard to get that, but people seem to have a positive response. We're actually recording this after the first episode. I haven't recorded the Luke episode yet, even though it probably is going to come out before this one comes out.
This is definitely going to be the third episode, a buffer between the third and the fourth.
Yeah, but hopefully as more people are watching and enjoying, I thought it would be cool if we could have some like interactive segment. The idea is for interactive content, like a big inspiration for me is one of my favorite podcasts is like TMG, Tiny Meat Gang podcast, and they're just their whole network. That's very inspiring to me, and is a big reason I wanted to start a podcast. I just thought that would be cool. And I like talking. People,
I like talking,
and I feel like I'm okay at it at least. But they at least used to do a recurring segment where it was like relationship advice, and I don't know if I want to just like copy their segment outright. I mean, if someone wants some relationship advice, but just advice in general, or just like anything where like you guys can like ask us a question, and that could be like a talking point, or something.
Or if you guys have like an idea for a segment.
Exactly.
Like, let us know, and if it's interesting and cool, we'll definitely take a crack at it. I mean...
Yeah, and Mason's also an audio guy. We were just talking about maybe, like, a little jingle.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna cook up something for us to have a little intro song. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe even some, like, basic Blender animation or something.
Yeah. We have a lot on the agenda for this episode. We're gonna end it off with, like, probably a long talk about aliens.
Yes.
I have...
I'm prepping mentally right now.
I have one thing I wanted to talk. This is just a little bit about photography because I on my ASMR channel, people just like when I talk about photography, and I have my photography channel, and people just like kind of hearing about that. And this was just something I thought could be an interesting conversation, and this is like understandable to just anybody, and it's just a cool kind of factoids in a way. So I wanted to talk about how a camera and a lens kind of relates to how you see with your eye and your brain interprets that information. Yeah. How that, like, the equivalent between the camera and
how the technology relates to the biology.
Yeah. So, like, I don't even know how in depth or how long I'll talk about this, but I don't know. I just thought this would be something interesting to talk about. So, like, for example, whenever you have a camera and you see through the lens, that's like your eyeball, obviously, but more specifically than that, like with how your pupil opens and closes to let more or less light into your eye, that's like the aperture of your lens. And the same thing with that, just like with the aperture of your lens, if you're letting a lot of light in, the same thing with your vision, you actually have a shallower depth of field, but that's like kind of more technical. But anyway,
explain for like people who are listening who don't necessarily watch your photography content or know much about cameras, what that would be, what the aperture would be.
What do you mean?
Like what does it do?
Oh, like
Like just like a basic explanation.
so with a lens, so this is just kind of like with how your eye works as well. So whenever you look through your eye and it goes through the front of your eye, I don't even remember the parts of your eye. I learned that in psychology class for some reason. But
Okay.
but the light kind of goes through your eye and it comes to a point, and then it inverses and comes out and it goes back on your cornea. And then even though the image actually flips upside down when it does that, but your brain flips it back upright.
Which is why, interestingly, in the what's that camera called? The one we use today.
The view camera we use today, yeah. Whenever you look through the back panel of it, because it's just showing the projection of what
it
what
shows
the camera's
up
taking.
upside down and backwards. It's super interesting.
Yeah, and your eyes actually do that too, because your eyes are just lenses where the light comes through and it goes to a point and it projects upside down. Your brain flips it right side up.
So you can like understand the information.
Yeah, but whenever I tell anybody this in real life, I like to remind them that if you hit your head in just the right way, you could technically start seeing everything upside down.
That
is a scary thought.
Yeah.
People, it's like
is that true? Is that true?
I assume. I don't know. I just kind of
honestly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it. I'm sure it's happened at least once.
Probably like a failed lobotomy. They're like, why am I seeing upside down?
Yeah, that sounds awful. Because that would just be so disorienting, especially if it was also like inverse, like left
that,
and right, the way it is on the view camera.
Tom Tucker's kid from Family Guy, the one with the upside down face.
yeah, exactly. That's what it. Except,
do you think his brain just like doesn't need to flip it?
yeah, maybe, or it does, and it's just hell because it's exactly what we were talking about. Is that funny? Yeah. Okay.
Jimmy just lives in hell.
So whenever the light goes through your eye and it comes to that point I was talking about, that's where the aperture would be on the lens, like where it goes to that point and spreads out. The aperture just closes down around that point to let more or less light through the lens. And that, why would you want that? Because that affects the depth of field or how much in your photo is in focus. So if you have your aperture wide open, you're letting a bunch of light in, just a small sliver of depth of field. So like just a small portion of your photo will be in focus. Like, it's hard to explain.
So if you look at pretty much any photo, like anything you take with your iPhone, nowadays there's like really good lenses, and you can see like if you like, I guess it's like tap focus these days on like an iPhone or whatever, and like you tap on the person and then behind them is very blurred. The higher the aperture, the higher they're like
the wider the aperture, which
wider,
is actually a lower
yes.
number.
Yeah. You say it. This
is getting too technical.
Yeah. Okay.
Too technical.
Anyway.
I feel like. Anyway, the aperture just like lets more or less light in. That's like your pupils. The only thing I wanted to talk about was dynamic range, which is the really remarkable thing about how you can see is the brightest thing you can see and the darkest thing you can see simultaneously is a very wide range. So whenever like you go outside and you're looking at like a sunset and you're basically looking like at the sun with a cloud in front of it that's super super bright, and you're seeing like a mountain below that, and you're seeing them both like perfectly exposed because that's just how your vision works. That's like really remarkable because with a camera it's just unable to
it's like unable to process
that much of a range between light and dark.
Yeah, does.
That's the only other thing I can think about. Anyway, this is like a weird.
No, yeah, it got weirdly technical.
Yeah, I should have thought about that. Here, you guide us for the next talking point.
Let's see here. Gas prices.
Prices.
I guess I don't know. We were just spitballing earlier. I don't know. It's a good topic. It's something that everybody's affected by.
Yeah, gas prices.
So
they're high. They're too high.
They're too high.
You know what I say?
I don't know how. I don't know
too high.
Where you guys live at, but around here, it's like $4.50 a gallon now, maybe $5 in some places. It's a little crazy, but just wanted to talk a little bit about why that is. I mean, obviously, there's a conflict going on.
I don't know why that is. Tell me why. So the gas prices are too high. I'm the average American. I'm just blaming Joe Biden. Tell me why. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, obviously, it does have some stuff to do with our current administration.
Oh, it does have to do with probably shutting down the gas lines.
Yeah, so in Ukraine and in parts of Russia, there are like huge deposits of natural gas and oil.
Yeah,
and there's this like huge Russian pipeline that was built back during the Cold War. I think. Don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. and it like expanded into a bunch of other countries and through some NATO territory, so it can deliver what is essentially like a lot of gas that people need in like a majority of Europe and the UK, right?
So Russia exports a lot of oil, but they have the dirtiest oil and natural gas in the world.
I
think,
honestly don't know.
I heard that they have the lowest quality, but for some reason, a lot of people buy it, and we're buying it for them. And we shut down our own pipelines, and then we're tapping into our own like emergency reserve gas, and that's like for absolute emergencies. And
honestly,
I don't know why we don't just start up our own pipelines again.
Bro, I think it's because we simply just don't have the oil.
We have lots of oil in the United States.
Do we?
We have so much oil. There's like billions and billions of dollars of natural gas in Kansas.
Yeah. Maybe they'd just rather export it.
My theory is we're trying to drain the rest of the world and keep all our own, and then one day
they'll all be out,
and we'll have
it, bro.
Yeah,
dude. America.
Long game. We're in it for the long game, dude.
But yeah. Anyway, since Russia has invaded Kiev, they have not been doing well. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. But
no, let's talk briefly about how Ukraine is putting up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, dude, that's
awesome.
Crazy. Well, it's like
good on
it's
them.
like Putin's like marching all these like soldiers into like into
sorry.
Ukraine down a single road, telling them they're going on an extended training exercise on the border, but really they're invading Ukraine, and they don't even know it.
A lot of Russians have joined the Ukraine.
Yeah, dude.
Ukraine army.
Well, Putin's theory was, I was listening to a podcast earlier that was talking about this. Putin's theory was that like, oh, there's already a lot of like crossover between like a lot of Russians have family in Ukraine, a lot of Ukrainians have family in Russia.
Yeah.
Like, they're not, like, it's just gonna happen. They're, like, we'll have control of the capital in a week. Well, and this is literally what he was, like, saying.
Yeah. Well, did you see that there was, like, multiple Russian bombs that had just, like, went in and embedded in a kitchen and never, like, blew up? Imagine just eating...
Bro, that's literally, like, that one scene in Marvel.
Imagine eating breakfast and a rocket just comes barreling in.
I saw this
destroys your fridge and then just doesn't blow up. And you're like, maybe we'll just go in the other room.
Wait, I saw this one where this guy was like playing Fortnite or something, and he heard this like big explosion and looked out his window, and like a missile hit like 2 blocks over, and he's like, and closes his window and goes back to his computer.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching...
And I'm just like, Jesus, dude, fucking...
I think
a literal war zone.
There was this video of these American soldiers like walking down the street, and they're like, "Yeah, it's like getting bad," and then you just see like a missile like fly over their head.
Yeah,
this is right at the beginning, and they're like, we got to get inside. Like,
there was this one video. It was a video game. It was like a flight simulator video game, like a military flight sim, and they like, I don't know what they did, if they like modded the game to make it look extremely realistic.
Yeah.
But this video was like going around, and people thought it was like real. It was like this like fighter jet pilot. I forget what they called him. Somebody who's listening to this probably knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, it was
was it the Ghost of Kiev? Was that his name?
Yeah, that's what it was. And it was fake, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he's fake, but the video of him, because it was supposedly him getting shot down.
That's something we should also talk about, is just how much misinformation there is, just rampant.
Not even
you can't believe anything.
Not even like
it's propaganda, all of it.
Yeah, not even like Ukraine stuff, like Ukraine information in general.
Well, definitely that.
I mean, definitely that, but just like everything, bro.
Like, you can't even trust America's take on it,
bro. Like the New York Post, like one of the most, like literally the oldest still standing American news organization, I think. Again, don't quote me on that.
You should not. You should, yeah. You should start with "I think" before you like say something
bro,
definitively.
If they're gonna listen for 2 more seconds.
That's true. Yeah.
But like they're one of the oldest news organizations in the country, and they're just like them and the New York Times are just straight up like distrustful now.
Yeah, that's not the best. It is not the best. And I heard that I heard somewhere that the U.S. government is just like trying to utilize, or at least it was with the Ukraine conflict, utilize like TikTokers and influencers to basically spread propaganda.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's not new, bro. What do you think China does?
Yeah, but
like constantly.
the U.S. at least doesn't do it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen on TikTok? I don't know if you guys use TikTok, probably because everybody's fucking addicted to it.
Everybody uses TikTok.
Yeah, but have you seen the ones where they're like, these are the dances you can do to fight war in Ukraine? But yeah, anyway, way off track. But they put some economic sanctions on Russia, and now they've stopped importing oil. And I mean, that's not the only part of it, but that's, I mean, I guess a major part of why our gas prices are so high, to end that topic.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes later.
No, that was an interesting topic.
Yeah.
That was
But
interesting.
yeah, dude, Ukraine's putting up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, that's
and
the main takeaway.
They're saying there's some people were thinking that Russia's gonna pull out soon. So
That'd be cool, but I don't see
but who's
that
to say?
happening.
Who's to say? Honestly, what do we got up next? Okay.
Well, we got up in all capital letters.
Right now, my friends, we are sitting at about 30 minutes on real time. We're probably gonna be sitting at like 20 minutes podcast time.
I think we're gonna keep most of that.
No, yeah, I mean, you're right.
No,
definitely.
you sound kind of like sound like Shaggy.
Like Scoob. Like Scoob. Getting them Van Man.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Raggy.
That was. Why can you do every character? You kind of look like Shaggy.
Yeah,
you
so-
should have wore a green shirt today.
I can go get one.
Yeah,
Nah.
go do it
I
right
used to
now.
have this like outfit I wore in high school. It was like a dark green shirt with khakis, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, look at Shaggy."
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
look-
like, "No."
People say I look like, who is it? Peacemaker from
Peacemaker.
No,
Peacemaker?
Vigilante from Peacemaker.
Oh.
I've got that comment a couple times on my
I'm
channel.
gonna take like 5 seconds and look that up.
Vigilante from Peacemaker. I've also got something else. Somebody said I look like something from Ant Farm or whatever that.
Ant-Man?
Ant. It was like some Disney Channel show.
Bro, I don't think that's you.
Well, probably the live action version of it, not the comic book character. Yeah, that guy. I guess I kind of vaguely look like him.
I don't know.
Do I look
What
like-
do you guys think?
Just put it up in editing. That's not gonna work.
Oh, you can see it. It's a little dark, but you guys know.
Does it- Why would you do it like that?
What do you want me to do?
We have to have so much light in order to get this webcam to look good. Because otherwise, it just like makes the motion look really bad.
I don't know. It does. I mean, we're not moving too much.
No, it's not. It's I like
But-
the set. It looks nice.
So we're just gonna talk a little bit about.
Yeah, let's just figure out how to
So
smoothly.
let's start with some not so recent development.
All right. So what's next on the agenda?
So we're just gonna talk a little bit about like, I don't know. I guess the future of our race,
We're gonna talk about the future.
the future of the human race. I guess.
Who's gonna save us?
I don't know. Honestly, I was gonna say Elon Musk, but
not gonna
he's
save
going
us.
evil genius mode, bro.
He's going evil genius
He's
mode.
going evil genius mode. I don't know.
I think we just found the title of this episode.
Elon Musk goes evil
No,
genius
just
mode.
just evil genius mode is hilarious. Let's just riff on evil genius mode.
No,
What is that?
no.
That's really funny.
Bro, what do you mean? What is that?
Just what is evil genius mode entail?
think-
Like if anybody could go evil genius mode,
I
what
think
would happen?
Elon Musk.
Would your head swell up a little bit?
I really hope that by the grace of God, he does not hear this by some miracle.
I want to talk about evil genius mode because Elon
So
Musk.
I think if Elon Musk were to go evil genius mode, if he were to go hypothetically, as the Joker says, one bad day can make a man go mad. And I think if Elon Musk were to have that bad day, we might all be fucked. Because I watched an interview of him the other day, and somebody asked him the question. They were like, if somebody wanted to like create like a very high tech weapon with the like technology that we have now, what could they do? And you want to know what he fucking said?
What?
He said, you take the face recognition chip out of a phone, you wire that shit up with about 100 drones with guns on them, and then you fly them around a building until you find the person you want and execute. And I'm like, bro, what are you even talking about on a live interview right now?
That's good for just putting that idea out there for anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
Just anybody.
That's literally what I'm saying. Like that was like more than a little fucked.
I want to talk about how's nobody just a little sketched out about how just everyone's phone just like IDs your face. Mm-hmm. Just has like a little log of exactly like your facial features.
No, dude, it's like the TikTok videos where
your phone definitely listens
where they're
to
like,
you.
look at this filter that is like, it makes your eye look like a real eye, like it's taken with a professional camera. And like literally you open up the comments on one of those videos and every comment is like, damn, that's some free retinal data. You know what I mean?
Shit. Well, that's what TikTok is, just harvesting your data, like,
bro. Literally,
the Chinese government, dude.
TikTok is a psychological tool for the Chinese government to hack our lives, and we're fucked.
And it's working so well.
Again, disclaimer: please don't listen to our opinions.
Well, I would say that's a conspiracy theory, but it's really like not.
I mean,
it's just not a conspiracy. It's just true.
Yeah, it's a little avant-garde, I suppose, but not.
What does that mean?
Like out there.
Avant-garde. It means out there.
Yeah.
For some reason, I've heard that, and I've never bothered to look up or ask anybody.
I don't know, bro.
I decided to ask you right now, where everybody's gonna think I'm stupid.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to make you look stupid, so we're on a good track.
Avant-garde.
Yeah.
I know what that means now. That's
but anyway, before I said evil genius mode.
Can we? Okay, sorry.
You can't say, can we riff on evil genius mode again?
Oh, well, you just didn't give me. You didn't grant me the pleasure.
I did a little.
You didn't. I was gonna ask.
If
what would
Elon
happen?
Musk were to go evil
not
genius
Elon
mode.
Musk, just if anybody could go evil genius mode. But what would happen? Would their head swell up a little bit? Their head just get a little bit bigger?
Bro, I think they might get like the Sith eyes from Star Wars.
Yeah. They get really pale all of a sudden.
Get a little further away from the mic.
Yeah. Okay. I see how it is.
Yeah.
You're like, can you just keep going a little further? Just a little further.
Yeah, but Elon Musk, he's trying to go to Mars. We're trying to go to Mars, bro.
Yeah. We're trying to go to Mars.
I don't know when. When is that?
It's gonna take us like
2025 or something.
Even if we started figuring shit out really fast about terraforming Mars into a habitable planet, it would take us at least 100 years to do it.
Oh, bro, more easily.
Way more, probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you think we have enough time?
Bro, yeah. I mean, global warming's bad, but we're not gonna
We still probably have a couple thousand years.
We're not gonna be fucked for a while because
even
in the last decades since the United States has shifted. So during the Paris Climate Agreement in the early 2000s, the United States agreed to drop its carbon emissions by 7%, right?
Yeah.
And by some stroke of luck, we almost totally transitioned for most of our energy to natural gas from coal, and which burns like 2 times as clean. Right.
Yeah.
So naturally, we dropped our emissions like 27 or 22 point something percent.
Okay.
Right.
Is the rest of the world doing that? No.
Definitely not. Definitely not a lot of the industrial countries. I mean, especially a lot of third world countries. I mean,
so I understand, and I totally agree with the point of we need to be greener. We need to save our planet. But there's also, just to play devil's advocate, the counterpoint of us forcing ourselves to go green. Is that weakening us while other countries are not doing the same thing?
No, I don't think so, because eventually going green is going to mean not necessarily being cleaner, but just straight up having the better technology.
If we're just gonna up and stop like using if we're gonna stop, first of all, mining our own natural gas and being completely dependent on exporting from other countries.
What I'm saying. We can't just stop producing our own natural gas, or anybody. There's not gonna come a single day where there's an announcement on TV and the announcer says, okay, everybody's getting 200 solar panels put on their roof.
Yeah, well, that would
no
do
more
shit, right?
No, dude. There is physically no way, unless every country in the world embraced nuclear energy tomorrow, which they should, because nuclear is basically it's a hot button topic because of what happened in Chernobyl and 7 Mile Island. Nuclear energy is basically, we would reduce our carbon emission to zero.
That would be great, but then there's the thing where another Chernobyl could happen.
But that's the thing, dude. That's what everybody's scared about. But
Exactly, yeah.
But Chernobyl was built in the late 60s.
It was.
Whenever that tsunami hit, they could have put up a wall to prevent it, but they didn't want to put up the seawall because they were afraid they were going to scare the populace of the town of Chernobyl. So rather, they let everybody basically die, drown, or left without a home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It would be nice, but it's just so hard to do anything.
I think before the end of our lifetime, there's going to be a total switch to nuclear energy in some way or another.
I feel like that would be great, but I don't know.
Once they figure out nuclear fission,
yeah, I have no clue. All right, let's go on. Yeah. So we were talking about Elon Musk. We're talking about like we want to maybe go to Mars.
Yeah.
Obviously not an astronomer. Oh yeah, but Mars is wait, no. Mars has less gravity than Earth.
That's not how gravity works, my dude.
Okay.
It's smaller.
But it also has to do with the sun, right? Distance from the sun. I'm so stupid. Let me just stop talking. I've had a white claw or two.
The reasons planets form is because the reason that planets form is because there are certain regions in a star's like gravity well, basically.
Yeah.
That like a lot of like Earth will gather, like a lot of like rocks and like meteors or whatever is there from why ever it formed, right?
Yeah.
And that's why planets form, like they come together in these clusters, and that's why further away from the sun we have these larger bodies that are much less dense, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not really a scientist either, but maybe if someday we do actually make it to Mars, like actual humans, maybe we will find
Do you think there because there was frozen water there, right?
So Mars was a very Earth-like planet.
Yeah.
And I think there might have been at least microbial life there.
I really hope so.
Like, that'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah. And if that's true, that means there's 2 out of 7 planets in our solar systems that have that.
Exactly.
Which means the likelihood of just being life in the universe.
And there are literally billions of solar systems like ours.
Yeah.
Let alone galaxies like ours filled with solar systems like that.
Exactly.
Like, that is insane. Basically an infinite amount. There has to be life out there.
Yeah.
Like mathematically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, if we happen, that's just
Or maybe there's a certain threshold that a species like us have to like breach in order to continue through. Like maybe that's like in the microbial stage, or like whenever you're like what essentially would be like our hominid stage. You know what I mean?
To breach? I don't know what you mean.
Like to like if there's some challenge, like say it's like if you can't throw a rock.
Okay.
Like if your species can't throw a rock and run fast, like I don't know, like primitive humans could.
Okay.
Like then you're fucked. Or maybe it's something now, like if you don't
natural selection
if you don't stop depleting your planet, then you're going to die before you have the chance to expand even further.
Yeah, I guess that would be a pretty major challenge.
There could be like another civilization out there that's like wiping out any life as soon as it's detected it. That's true. Just ultra like advanced.
That's very true. And they just haven't detected us yet, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. We're sending some shit out into space. They probably haven't found it, though. Like, the likelihood of another civilization, like, even if there is intelligent life, like, being at the same level of technology that we are, like, and operating, like, on the same, like, the way that we use this wave spectrum to communicate. Like, the likelihood that another planet, like, another civilization is communicating that same way is so unlikely.
Also, didn't we send out something into space in like the 60s, but it was just like in English or something?
No, it wasn't. It was so what it was it was a record.
Yeah.
Basically, it was like a vinyl record, like pressed into like gold.
Okay.
With the instructions on how to like build a device to listen to it. Oh. And it was basically like the sounds of Earth.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And you can actually you can buy that record.
Sounds of Earth. That's a dope name for it too.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it's called, but that's
aliens
essentially
are like,
what it was.
This sounds fire.
They're like remix.
The aliens,
remix.
they have like big sunglasses to cover their eyes that are like almond shaped.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I thought so too. Thanks, man.
I really did.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro. But honestly, dude, I don't know. Some of the UFO stories out there are pretty like compelling. It's like I don't know, because it's like I want it to be true.
Yeah.
So it's like like these people who have these things happen to them, some of them like really want it to be true. They're like, I got abducted. That's the coolest shit ever.
Yeah, well, a lot of them are also horrified because they like,
That
I got
too.
probed. It was the most
that
awful
too.
shit ever.
But I saw this video. It was like of somebody. It was like some UFO guy talking to like a room full of abductees, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, of everybody here, who would want to have that experience again?
Oh yeah,
And about half of the people raised their hands.
Yeah.
And it was like polar opposite. Like half of them were like, yes, like without a doubt in my mind.
It was amazing.
And the other half were like, no.
God no.
I'd
please.
rather die.
Yeah.
Like, but it's crazy, dude. I don't know. Like, have you ever heard the story about Betty and Barney Hill? Hold on, I wrote down the year here. It was 1961 in New Hampshire. Have you ever heard the Betty and Barney Hill story?
I think I have. It sounds familiar.
So I'll just give a little rundown. So they were they were driving. It was pretty late at night.
Okay.
And they were driving down this back road, and they see this blinding light. Stop the car, get out, and the next thing they know, they're back laying on the road with missing time of about 4 hours.
Yeah.
And this is a very controversial case because it was one of the first times that they used retrograde hypnosis to supposedly get the stories out of an abduction victim who had suppressed them very deeply in their mind.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is very controversial because it is very, very easy to influence someone and make them think something like that happened to them.
Yeah.
And the thing was, I am inclined to believe the Betty and Barney Hill story because there's other pieces of evidence. Right? But it's just crazy because they like this retrograde hypnosis, they can make you believe anything. And the same person who did Betty's retrograde hypnosis did the same thing for like a couple other UFO victims.
Yeah.
Or abduction victims.
Oh, so you might have been like putting that idea in there.
Yeah, that's kind of like the common consensus, but there's some other stuff. Like there was like the stain on Betty's dress of like they don't even know, like alien cum, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so too.
And then there was like,
did it glow in the dark?
I don't know, but there was a lot of like what seemed to be like from like a rocket or something, like some kind of like ship's residue on the bumper of the car.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does alien cum melt steel beams?
I'm just gonna move on because that wasn't funny.
Yeah, it was. In my mind. All right.
Okay, bro, you just got that all over me.
Sorry. It's gonna go in your head, in your face. There was something I wanted to just take a note of earlier, because you always put on like Family Guy in the background when we're hanging out. I just feel like the vehicles, like the cars in Family Guy, are just animated too well. Like it's just too fluid.
Yeah, so I agree. It's because they do them as 3D models now.
Yeah.
They didn't back in the day.
But the cars are like that, but nothing else is. Because they look distinctly different from the characters.
Yeah, I mean, they kept the style from the original.
But the cars,
Basically.
no.
No, but the cars, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, they just look so, like, too good.
But anyway, back to Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah.
New Hampshire, 1961, as I said.
Yeah.
But it was also really strange because there's the Zeta Reticuli star system, and this is where it gets weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Because
this connects to a couple of other stories that are relatively insane. But anyway, during this retrograde hypnosis that this I don't even know what you would call it. Hypnotist, I guess.
Yeah.
that this hypnotist put Betty under. She claimed to have seen a map hanging in the ship, and that the aliens tried to give it to her, but that one of the aliens tried to give it to her, and the other one said no.
Sounds like a DMT trip.
That possibly, but she remembered the map via the hypnosis, drew it, and it was an undiscovered star system that they found like 2 years later.
Like, wow. Like, it looked just like it.
Like, not even looked like it was an exact representation.
Wow. That's crazy.
And there's this guy, Bob Lazar. Right, this is one that I didn't write down, but this is another very, very interesting one. This guy worked at, it was a sub facility of Area 51.
Okay.
Called Area S4. And this is supposedly where they held the flying saucers from Roswell, and basically they said they had, I've listened to the Joe Rogan podcast where he talks to Bob Lazar a million times. I love it. But basically they said that they had, I think it was 7 flying saucers.
Okay.
There.
7.
And on each flying saucer, it was said that they were working on a different part of it. They were working on, like, one group was working on the propulsion system, which is what Bob Lazar worked on. And then another group was working on what kind of material it was made of, because it was some kind of metamaterial they had never seen before.
Reverse engineering them.
Essentially, that's what they're trying to do.
Okay.
And each of these ships all had the same engine, they said. It was like a block. You couldn't touch it because it was emitting some sort of gravitational field, right? And apparently Bob's predecessor got so fed up with trying to reverse engineer this thing and had no idea how to do it that he cut into it, and it basically caused a nuclear explosion that can be traced to a practice nuke exercise that they claimed they had scheduled on the same day.
Wow.
In question.
That's pretty crazy.
But
so
that's just the beginning, bro. That's just the beginning.
I don't know about any of this shit.
Bro,
I
love it.
Pretty out there.
I love it, dude. I don't know if it's true, but it's super fun.
Bob Lazar sounds like a sketchy
It's super fun.
fella.
But anyway, he was working on this thing, on this propulsion system, the way that the ship flew.
Okay. Yeah.
And for reference, I'll tell you about, actually, I'll pause right here on the Bob Lazar story and tell you about the Tic Tac UFO that was spotted. Actually, I have that written down as well.
Shaped like a Tic Tac?
Yeah, so the Tic Tac is like a common form of like UFO that people will see a lot of the time.
Okay.
But it was spotted by the U.S. Navy, and it came from 80,000 feet to wait, is that the same one? Hold on, I just want to make sure I'm not getting my wires crossed. Okay, no, I am. So I'm actually talking about the USS Nimitz in 2004.
Okay.
They had this unidentified object come from 80,000 feet to sea level in a second.
Okay. Yeah. I think I feel like I've had this conversation with you. A lot of this stuff sounds very familiar.
Yeah, but that's basically, I guess, who's to say if it's the same technology or if it's even real.
Yeah.
But that could be like a good measure of what it could possibly do, you know.
Could just be something Tic Tac's working
on.
on.
But he worked on this thing forever, and eventually it was said that they took out one of the flying saucers every night in this secluded part of the desert there. And one night Bob Lazar took a bunch of his friends up to see it.
Yeah.
From a cliff nearby. And they were watching, and eventually they got caught by the Area 51 security. And they're like, "You're not in a lot of trouble, but we're watching you and you're fired." And supposedly he stole some of the element 157. Somebody correct me on that if I'm wrong.
It sounds like a science movie.
Bro, literally.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be this element that we have actually synthesized, or maybe it's 116. But it's this element that we have synthesized, but it's just not stable. But the idea is that in another part of the universe, there is this race that it could be possible that their combustion engine was this thing. Right? This could be their simple technology. And because they have this fuel like readily available and naturally there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting to think about, like, if we just had completely different resources and had evolved from
precisely,
something else.
exactly.
Like, how different would our
It's
technology
just a
be?
super interesting thought experiment.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about. And obviously, we can't comprehend like what.
You
Yeah.
don't even know. Like they're like obviously we have our periodic table.
Yeah, and you
But-
notice how any representation or form of an alien is always humanoid, because I feel like that's just what we can understand.
Bro,
But just
who's to say that aliens aren't people from the future? Because, dude, you think about it, right? We used to be like chimps. Well, I mean, not necessarily, but like think about a Neanderthal. Way less smart, bigger muscles, more hair.
Mhm.
Now we have bigger brains, less hair, and less muscle.
Yeah.
And an alien has an even big, like the traditional gray depiction, right? Has like an even bigger head and almost no body muscle or genitalia.
Little tiny guys.
Yeah, like that's just a cool little thing to think about. I don't know, man. There's like some pretty undeniable proof of that. Like some incidents, like 1952 over Washington, there were 10 lights. One appeared and then the rest did, and they just stayed there for 8 hours.
Oh.
And the military went up there, and as any time the planes would get close, gone. But then they'd land, and they'd come right back.
That's
And that is like a real life thing witnessed by the entirety of Washington D.C. in 1952.
yeah. One time
Like several thousand witnesses.
One time my late uncle, he was driving down to downtown, and he saw one of those Chinese lanterns flying overhead, and he called my dad, and he swore it was a UFO.
Bro, honestly, I looked it up.
The place where we live.
Like 23rd in the country for UFO spottings. But
Replace it just with like the place where we live.
The place where we live.
Yeah, they just cut that in.
yeah, we're sitting at about 58 minutes right now. Honestly, this was a pretty good podcast.
It was a pretty good podcast. It was interesting. I feel like
Sorry, I got a little out there at the end. It's probably and most definitely not true, but I like to have a little faith, you know.
yeah, there was
It's
some give
just
and
a fun topic to talk and think about.
there was some give and take this time. Where with the photography thing, I took the reins a little too far. I feel like maybe with the alien thing. Actually, it was pretty good.
I kept that pretty reeled in. I could
good.
have gone farther, but
I felt like I wasn't contributing anything at all. I was just like, yeah, whoa.
hey man, fuck it.
But it was interesting.
It's a good time.
But yeah, like I said earlier, for you guys watching, I feel like I don't know.
You just
Sorry.
keep inching.
Yeah, I keep wanting to get closer because I just feel like it sounds better when I get closer.
It sounds louder, not better.
It sounds louder. Yeah. See, I'm not the audio guy here. Sorry. But for you guys watching, like I said earlier, it would be cool to do some interactive stuff.
Yeah, if you guys have any ideas for like segments or any questions you wanted to ask us or literally anything,
Just anything
Like,
you think, yeah.
put it in the comments and we will at most or at least respond, and at most it'll get in the video.
Yeah,
You know, like,
definitely.
Like if you have an idea, throw it out there.
I definitely think the advice thing could be interesting.
Oh
whether
yeah,
it's
I think that'd be interesting too.
relationship advice is any kind of advice, and obviously just taking into consideration, like, don't take our advice too seriously.
Yeah.
But it's just something fun to talk about, and you know, if we try to tell stories every episode, we're gonna run out of stories by like episode 10. So
Yeah, exactly,
we have to figure out, you know, a variety of things we can talk about. Yeah, thanks, my friend.
Bro, I literally watched it happen.
I was just, as I was talking over the course of the sentence, it's just a little bit louder. Okay. I think that's it.
But yeah,
That was a good pod.
Yeah.
Good podcast.
thanks for tuning in, guys.
Leave a like if you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. I'm used to the. I've done so many YouTube.
Leave a like if you enjoy. Leave a comment down below.
I've done so many YouTube videos. I've done literally hundreds of YouTube videos at this point. So I got the outro down. But okay,
Yeah.
that's all.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
You are now leaving the Better Broadcast podcast.
Goodbye.
Evil Genius Mode. Leave a like if you enjoyed, or comment down below. Be sure to stay tuned for the next installment of BBP.